Welcome back, Maximum Octane. This is your host, Kim Hickey. Joining me today, I'm super excited about my guest, Cally Rempis. We got to meet in Nashville. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute, but I always love, as you all know, when I'm along my travels and doing things of entrepreneurs of any industry, from any industry, that have great ideas or great energy or something I feel like you can benefit from. And with Cally's business, Cally Rempis Enterprises, she's a coach, not the same kind that I am for the automotive industry, but for health. And she's going to talk to you about it a little bit, and we're going to get rolling right into it. But I think this is a great thing because not only can you learn from her as an entrepreneur, you can also learn from her about getting healthier and having a different kind of lifestyle. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. So Cally, all of your, I have all of your links and all, so they're going to all be in the notes. So our listeners and viewers will be able to contact you. So hopefully they do that because I think you're pretty fabulous. So welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm really excited to be on Maximum Octane.
So I went to Nashville, and I think a lot of you know from me over the years, when I go somewhere, I like to do food tours wherever I travel to, whether it's another state, another country, whatever. I like to do food tours. I like to take a cooking class because that helps me understand the locals and what's going on. And I'm also sort of a history buff, so I love to understand the behind the scenes. And so I booked an event through Cally, and she was just fabulous. And I'm like, hey, you want to come on? So let us talk about a little bit. Let's talk about, before I start bombarding you with questions, why don't you talk a little bit about what your business is and how you got started?
Absolutely. So it's a little bit of a convoluted story. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has one, right? But I'm an integrative life and health coach and also a hypnotist. And so what I do on the whole is I work with people, and usually people come to me because they're having health issues, whether they want to gain weight or lose weight, or they're struggling to get their health goals. And what I have a package program where I work on your whole life. So we look at what you're eating, we look at what you're doing, we look at how you're working out, we look at your stress levels, your relationships, your careers, because all that affects your health, all that affects your life. And so I look at everything, and we tweak everything to get you where you need to go. And we make manageable changes every week. There's no food to buy, things like that. It's all changing your lifestyle, changing your ideas, putting you on a different journey. And I got started on this. I became a health coach in 2015. And at that time, I was in the corporate world. I was in corporate management. And I just wasn't happy where I was at. I was very fortunate to be in the position I was, and I was with a great company, but I just wasn't what made me happy. And so over the years, I had done health coaching part-time until COVID hit. And at that time, I was struggling with my own health, and I went to see a hypnotist because I was like, there's something blocking me. There's something that's holding me back. And I went to see a hypnotist, and I cleared up like right away. It was amazing. So after that point, I decided I need to become a hypnotist because this will help my clients. This will help me. I can help all kinds of people. And I left my corporate career a year ago to go full time with my business. And that's where I am today. So, yeah.
Well, that is so exciting. And a lot of people are held back from starting businesses because they're waiting for everything to be perfect to align up to whatever. Sure. But you really got to follow your heart, right? And just, life is too short. We're here for a limited amount of time, and time is the only non-renewable asset we have in our life. And so you have to do stuff that makes your heart sing. And so, okay. So I know that because I know my listeners and viewers are going to be like, a hypnotist, what the heck? I'm not, so let's talk about that a little bit. Is it like you're going to hold a watch and be like, you're getting sleepy, and then tell people they have to eat wheatgrass or something, or you like the taste? Yeah. You like the taste of wheatgrass. Tell me a little bit about, I know you can't explain the whole process, but just so that people aren't like, oh yeah, I went to a show in Vegas and they hypnotize somebody to cluck like a duck or whatever. You want to just talk about that piece of it a little bit?
Absolutely. Well, 95% of the work I do is through Zoom. So, which is really awesome. Number one. So anything you do on your end, like, you can get naked all you want. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be able to see you really, but no. So how it works. So therapeutic hypnotherapy is much different than stage hypnotherapy. Okay. Totally different. To do like therapeutic hypnosis, and that kind of thing. It's the best way for me to describe it is like a relaxed meditation. It's like me walking you through a guided meditation. You get very relaxed, but you hear everything I say. So if I tell you to cluck like a chicken, you're going to be like, what? Did you just tell me to cluck like a chicken? You're going to open your eyes and say, I'm done. You have full control over the session. That's the great thing. So where people think like I'm taking over their mind, not at all. I'm literally guiding them through a process that they do themselves. So it's really, I have the easy job. Your subconscious has the hard job. But no. So if I said anything like cluck like a chicken or do something weird or anything like that, you'll be like, you're going to open your eyes and go like, what? So it's very safe. It's great. It's effective. And it's just so quick. And it's all about working with your unconscious mind about, removing the barriers that have held you back. Because we're all a product of our experiences, right? If we have a bad experience with this, we kind of guard against ourselves from having it again. Like, the hand on the stove thing, ouch, that hurt. Let's not do it again, and we build on that to protect ourselves. And our subconscious does that. So it's all about removing some of the barriers that are not needed anymore to make change. Does that make sense?
It makes great sense, but I think I just have to, it seems like the people in our industry, they like to keep burning their hand on the stove. I don't know what it is different on this end, but they're like, no, let me do it again. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. So it's wonderful to hear that there's yeah, it's just like, what? Did we not already have this conversation? All right, perfect. So hopefully everybody's fears and questions have been alleviated now, and they could just listen with an open mind and not a limiting belief about what is hypnosis for that. So, right. Everybody today, and I just was at a conference this weekend, and it seemed like every single speaker brought up the past 3 years and, the pandemic and how life changed, and they really seem to focus, and universally all of them. And I was a little surprised in my head because I'm like, all right, let's get over this already. Like, I'm over this. I don't want to hear about this anymore. I don't want to, we're done. Let's move on. But what they said is that we had to adjust so differently, and that a lot of people actually are suffering from a form of PTSD because of everything, and they don't know how to handle it. And so that everybody now is in fight or flight mode all the time versus prior to the pandemic. So I know there's different schools of thought on that and but when you're always in a state of fight or flight, that causes some serious issues, right? For people. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So with those cortisol levels being so high, your increased stress level, you're increasing the work your heart's doing. You need to come down off that. But a lot of times we get stuck there. We get stuck in that, oh my gosh, what if something happens? I got to prepare for this. I got to prepare for this. I got to run here. I have to do this. I have to do this now. And people need to stop and take a deep breath. And we need to get back to normal. Okay. And there is a big portion of the population that is in that PTSD with COVID mode. Now, some people aren't so bad. Some people adapted really well, but a lot of us did not. So it's a matter of everybody's different. Just like every client is different. So, and are going to need different things. So the biggest thing with cortisol and with stress is to bring that, you got to bring that down. Start with some deep breathing, because we're breathing that, we're shallow breaths, because we're constantly on edge all the time. And this is big with especially corporate. I find this especially with corporate women in their 40s and up and higher up positions. They are constantly in that stress, fight or flight. Let's go, let's do it, that kind of thing. And it's so important that we bring ourselves down from that, because it's going to cause issues with your muscles down the line, right? You got your cortisol, all that stuff is stuck in your brain and going through your body, and you need to get it out. You need to let that cortisol out. You need to burn it off and let it out. It's so important. It's so important. And stress is one of the number one killers. You gotta bring it down. You gotta bring it down.
And just for clarification, in case anybody missed it, what Cally said, it could be any kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be, you could have went through the pandemic beautifully and not caused any extra stress or whatever, but there's still people with stress in their life. See, I'm one of those weird people that was like, this is awesome. I don't have to go see people. I don't have to go to the grocery store. I'm like, woo, this, I was like, yay, bring it on. So, which is not a standard. I know most people are, but, yeah. So I always laugh. I'm like a feral cat. I saw a meme that at this point, like when people were coming back online, and I'm like, I don't think I can be reintegrated into the world. Like I like having my groceries delivered and not going in the store talking to people.
And that's happening a lot. That's why you have that whole remote working thing. Because when we started the pandemic, we were all working remote as well. Employees are refusing to come back. We had employees at our business that moved out of state without permission. And we're just like, yeah, I'm not coming back to the office. So if I have to put in my resignation, I guess that's what I'm doing. Like, they were ready. Like, we're not coming back. It was very much like that.
It's crazy. And we should do an episode just on that alone, because there are some people that do work better in a remote situation. And
sure,
there's a great argument to be had about, not having travel time and, all of the flow of not being in a loud office environment and all. But there are, I think, more people, what I've seen over the past few years, that are not made to be remote. They don't realize it, and they can't follow their time. They can't, and they feel very disconnected. So there's a lot of that going on too. So
for sure,
you talked about taking a breath and, which everybody should be doing all the time. I know I'm one of those people that are always holding my breath, and when something's happening, and then I'm like, okay, wait, breathe. You gotta breathe. And something as simple as that is, I just saw a meme. Look, my life is like in memes. That's all my stuff, because I don't want to talk to people. So they send me memes. Somebody, had the tattoo that said breathe or whatever. And then he said, oh, good thing I had that reminder, because I wouldn't have breathed and could have died. And so I thought that was pretty funny, because that's my sense of humor. But I do think there is something to that, like to remind you to actually take breaths, not just breathe, right, but, take breaths and with intent, and think about it and fully breathe as you spoke about. So yeah. How do we see a lot today? People are very good at saying what they don't like and what's not working.
Yep.
And how do we flip the narrative? What advice do you have to look at what you do want versus what you don't want?
Absolutely. I do this all the time. And this is a major game changer for people. So on top of the stress, which I have a free Stress Less series that you can find on my, it's on TikTok and Facebook. I think it's on all of them, all the platforms, but giving you steps and things like that. But for looking in the future, when we concentrate on things that we don't have, or that aren't good, or we don't want, that's what we're going to continue to attract, because we're not looking for the things we want. So people literally have to, and I tell all my clients this, like, I want you to sit down, and this is another trick for stress too, is like, I want you to sit down and take 5 minutes to yourself. And I want you to really think about what you want out of life, what you really want. I don't care how weird it seems. I don't care how, that'll never happen. I'll never be able to get there. No, write it down. I want you to write down, because we are limitless. People don't understand we are limitless. We can do so much more. We are limited by all the the voices in the background that are telling us, oh, that's just not feasible, or that's not realistic, or, and our parents, God love them, our parents told us, you need to get a good job, you need to work hard, you need to do all these things because they wanted us to be safe. It was their way of trying to make us safe and put us in a good spot. And really it hindered us a little bit because then we started limiting what we could do. So sit down and I want you to really think about what you want. Do you like the house you're living in? Do you want a bigger house? Do you want a nicer car? Like, if you want that 2023 Jeep Wrangler special edition, sport, whatever, Jeep, write it down, put it all on the list and really start writing a list. Like, are you happy in your career? What would you rather be doing? If you're not happy where you're at, where do you want to go? Do you want to be VP of the company? Do you want to be president of the company, CEO? Where do you want? And that's the thing. So you need to start thinking about, and this list can change because, you might write a list one week and go, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that I want that. Then cross it off and rewrite your list. It's okay. This doesn't have to be, okay, you wrote your list. This is it. This is what you're getting. So you need to take time because we're concentrating on the stuff we don't want. Like, I don't want my car to break down. I don't want my heater to go out like it just did. And I don't want this. And I don't want a spouse or a significant other that puts me down. And well, what do you want then? Maybe you want a spouse that's very complimentary of you every day. Maybe you want a house that has at least 4 bedrooms so you can have all your kids or grandkids come stay at the same time. Or, when you concentrate on what you don't want, that is where you are going to stay. So it's important to think about what you really, really want. And then when you write it down, what happens is when you write these things down, and let's say you look at them every couple of days, let's say keep it, write down everything you want in life. And you can have separate lists too. Like if you're looking for a significant other and you're looking for a career, make separate lists and put everything you want down on that list. If you want your significant other to have 2 different color eyes, put it on the darn list. I'm telling you, put it on the list and look at it every couple of days. You don't have to look at it every day and then revise it as necessary. But what this does is this triggers a mechanism in your brain to start looking for these things. So when I never thought of that. That's, let me give you a quick example. I hired a coach while I was in the corporate world because I was unhappy. And I wasn't sure if health coaching and life coaching was the way I wanted to go. I wasn't sure if this was, again, have those negative thoughts, right? Like, oh, is that feasible? Is that realistic? All those kind of things. And the coach said, okay, I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. I want you to write it down. And I started writing everything I wanted out of a career. I wanted to work from home. I wanted to make my own hours. I wanted to work when I wanted to work. I wanted to be able to help people. I wanted to use my voice in some way, shape, or form because I'm also a singer. So I play in a cover rock band here in my free time. So I wrote all these things down on the list.
Why didn't you tell me that? Could I have gone to see you? Were you playing when I was there?
We were not.
No,
So
okay. I was going to say, I'm so disappointed now.
So when you come back to town, but it was when we were sitting there. And so I didn't think about this list very much because I'm like, what in the world would give me the income I want with all these different things and still be able to do this? And I'm like, there is nothing on earth I can think of. And then I went and saw a hypnotist. And then I went, holy crap. And it was like a light bulb went off. And the guy was like, I'm also starting another class. I'm starting a certification class coming up. And it was that light bulb went off so quick. And I went, oh my gosh, it works. It was the weirdest thing. So it's just my experience. I have another experience too, but it was just when you play that game in the car where you look for things of a different color, like name something blue, and you guys name off things in the car, or name a blue car, or the Volkswagen bug thing where slug bug. Not condoning punching.
Selective attention.
Yes. But your brain starts to look for those things subconsciously. So that's how that works. So think about what you want. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Don't even worry about how you're going to get there. Just write the list. And you're going to start seeing doors open like, oh, well, maybe I want to go there. Maybe I want to go in that door. Maybe I want to try that. And you slowly start to figure things out. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome. I love that you were bringing up about when you think about like the negative things or the things you don't want, that's where you're going to stay. One of the things, I ride a motorcycle, and years ago when I went to class because I wanted to ride one properly and not go out, my friends were trying to teach me and my ex-husband, and that's never a good thing. Probably why he's an ex, but besides that, it was when I went, one of the things I was most surprised about was they said you have to, if you are going to turn, if you're whatever, you have to turn your head before the bike, because the motorcycle is going to go where you're looking. And so if you don't turn your head, then it's not going that way. And, there's countless stories people talk about with skiing or anything else. They're staring at a tree that's coming at them and they see the tree coming and they slam right into it because that they were focused on that tree and not next to it or not whatever. Right. And so whether it's a motorcycle, anything where you are putting your attention is the direction you're going to go. Right. And I mean, that's been proven so many times that I'm sure everybody has a story about something. I was looking at the door and walked right into it, or I was staring at that phone pole and drove a hit, because we're like staring at it. So exactly. I hope everybody definitely heard what you said about that. So for sure. So let's talk about habits and productive ones, to become an entrepreneur and to be successful with anything in your life. We all have unproductive habits that, and some of us have more than others probably. Raise my hand.
I got my own.
And so it's like a constant pursuit. Yeah, it's like a constant pursuit of, what can I replace that with? Not just stop doing it, but for me now, I'm like, what can I replace that with? That's positive, instead of, again, focusing on the negative. I've stopped doing this or stop whatever it is. And, but saying, what can I do instead? That's positive, which has really helped me. So what's something would you be willing to share that you kind of swapped out for something more positive?
So,
or just something they can do to swap out.
Yeah. So I've made so many changes in the past 8 years with my own, with my own life. One thing that I have developed is a meditation habit. I do meditate every day. Occasionally I will miss a day and I kick myself in the butt because it really does calm my day down, and it helps me stay out of that. If you're running late, you get all hyped up like, oh crap, I'm running late. I got to hurry, get it there, get in the office, hurry up and do this. And you kind of stay there all day. You're still a little on edge the rest of the day. That meditation in the morning takes me down about 3 notches so that, okay, I'm running late, no problem. I'm going to get here. I got it. It's fine. That is one thing that I can say for people that'll help with your stress level tremendously as well. It helps get rid of that cortisol out of your system. Even if you start with 5 minutes a day in the morning, like right after you wake up is perfect because you're still kind of in that delta brainwave where you're still waking up. Set that timer for 5 minutes and just sit up and just sit there for 5 minutes. And if you start having thoughts come in, think of them as little clouds leaving. So you're just empty. Like you're just looking at the blackness of behind your eyelids and concentrate on breathing. I try to do a minimum of 15 minutes a day. So that's me personally. You can do guided meditations or you can sit there and have, no sound, however you want to do it. But meditation has been one thing that has changed my life and changed my day. Because then I can, when things come up, because everybody has contrast, everybody has like things that you don't necessarily want to happen. Like, oh crap, the dog chewed up this, or the cat scratched this up, or whatever. And it's just like, okay, We're just going to deal with it. We're just going to clean it up and move on. And it's just a release, if that makes sense. So meditation is number one. I would say if everybody could integrate meditation into their daily life, it's so beneficial. And then that's when, especially when you start thinking about your future and what you want, different ideas start to pop in. You start like, oh, I didn't think that I could call this person, but they may know something about that. Maybe I'll call them. It's weird how little ideas come to you in a meditative state. It's like your inner guidance is saying, hey, go over there, call them, do this, do that. So, and you get insights from that. So meditation is probably one thing that I would tell everybody to integrate. Does that make sense?
Okay, well yes, it does. But now that you mentioned meditation, I know there's going to be a lot of people listening saying, yeah, I'm not going to sit for an hour in, white baggy clothes going,
No.
So can you,
I'll make it easy.
Can you just touch a little bit?
Yes. So here's what, and there's a ton of free apps that you can get for free app meditations, things like that. This is literally what I do. I don't dress up. I'm literally, waking up in the morning, my hair is all over the place. I sit on my bed, I cross my legs. You don't have to do it. You don't have to sit and cross your legs if you don't want to. But I literally just sit there with my hands on my lap. I set a timer for 15 minutes. This is me. Don't do it for an hour at first. You're never going to do it. Start with 5 minutes. Wait, it's funny. Can I cuss on your show?
Yes.
Okay. There's a 2-minute medication. There's a 2-minute meditation on YouTube. That's, I think it's called Fuck It All. And it literally is somebody just going, it's really somebody just going, fuck it all. Fuck it all for 2 minutes. And it's a meditation and it's the best thing. I'll have to find it for you. You can put it in the show notes. It's not mine. It's somebody else's, but it is just if you want to just let go, it's a great way to do it. But literally I sit in my bed.
Well, I would think that mantra, I'm just laughing now. Okay. You sit on your bed, your hair is messy, you set your timer. I set a timer and I sit there. I close my eyes, I sit there and I just try to concentrate on my breathing. And the easiest way I do it is I say breathing in and breathing out. And I just say it to myself in my head because that will help me keep the thoughts out, because then I'll start thinking about things for the day and I have to push those out. So I think of those as like little clouds moving. Okay, clouds moving out. So this is my time. And it takes practice. So if you're doing it and you still have thoughts come into your head, I still have thoughts come into my head. It's a work in progress. So you just got to keep doing it. And it really will. You'll find after a while that if you do meditation for a while and then you stop, you're going to be like, oh God, I got to meditate. I'm not feeling great. It's funny how is that like that runner's high people supposedly get that I never got? Yeah. Okay. So what do you say to people? Because I am telling you right now what I'm going to hear. That's all wonderful, Kim. And, Cally sounds great, but I don't even have time to brush my teeth, or I don't have time to scratch my butt, or whatever the excuses that people have. I don't have time to just sit and stare at the ceiling for 15 minutes. What do you say to those people? Start with 2. Do it on your breaks at work. Do it on your lunch break. So I was, I used to take naps on my lunch break. I used to go in the car and crash for a half hour in my lunch break. So, you can find a minute or two somewhere. Even if you start with a minute or two, just start. It's like a workout program. Just start. That's half the battle, right? Love it.
Yeah. Even if you can set a timer or set an alarm for like 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And when you're at work, in your if you're in a desk or a cubicle or whatever, just take 1 minute and breathe and concentrate on like deep breathing. That's a portion of meditation. That's a form of meditation. So you always wonder why those yoga people are so happy. It's a form of meditation. So, but yeah.
Well, I think the listeners will be that sounds more doable during the day, that they don't have to go and change and put on white baggy clothes and be like, and all that stuff that people picture when they hear meditating.
You can do it anywhere.
You mentioned that you mentioned that you got a coach for when you were trying to figure out what to do.
I did.
And now you're a coach and all of that. And sometimes I feel like when I'm talking about how important it is for people to have coaches in their life, they think, oh yeah, that's because it's a sales pitch or whatever. So just in general, why is it so important, and what made you reach out to a coach to move your life along?
Well, if you're stuck in a spot, if you're unhappy with a part of your life, and this can be any part of your life, and you can't seem to get anywhere with it, everybody can benefit from a coach, because you have an outsider looking in, seeing where you're blocked. As long as you get a good coach, you need to find a coach who you resonate with. Obviously, if you meet with a coach and the coach is kind of a jerk, or maybe she's too high energy or something like that, you have to get a coach that resonates with you. So it's important that you talk to different coaches and consult with them and find one that resonates with you, okay, that you feel good about. The other thing is, every coach needs a coach. Every coach struggles, just like everybody else, with things. If you find something, so if you find an area where you're really struggling, you can't get past it, you can't seem to move forward, hire an outsider to look in, check in on you. What are you doing? What do you block? Where are you blocking yourself? Where are you holding yourself back? So that's where it's important to look at a coach. Some people think, oh gosh, I don't need a coach for that. Well, okay, then write your list and keep looking at it. And where are you going with it? But that coach is going to give you the outsider perspective. Like, well, have you looked at this? Have you considered this? It's like with the meditation thing. Well, have you considered doing it during your lunch break or during your break time? Or, before you leave work and you're sitting in your car, sit there for 2 minutes. Just sit there for 2 minutes and deep breathe. It's little things like that that'll help you. And it's the little changes that help you make the permanent changes. Does that make sense?
Well said. Well said. And all of you do such a wonderful job listening to your friends and your neighbors and your family members and following all of their advice that they probably should not be giving you. So work with somebody that can stay objective and understand. And, part of the coach part is the accountability. I mean, at the end of the day, almost everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. And it's the accountability of, having that partner to help you. And just to, like you said, look at things a little bit differently and open your mind. Because when we're around the same people all the time, in the same surroundings, we have the same friends and same family members, and they all think the same. We get, I think, in a silo almost of like, this is the way I have to think. This is, I've never kind of thought about something that way before. It's always surprising to me in any of the coaching sessions sometimes that just a great question or, a little bit of, have you looked at this? They're like, I never thought of it. And I think to myself, how could you never think of that sometimes? Like that is like, put the stamp on this way, not that way, and it's like they're blown away. But when you're in fight or flight mode all day long and you're doing all those things and trying to start a business or run your house or teach your kids or whatever it is you're doing, it's hard not to just be in there like with those blinders on. So I think the coach helps for so many reasons and so many different parts of your life. So,
right. And you're
Cally, I really appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Sorry, you're capable of so much.
It is. Most people don't reach any.
For sure.
It is. I think people so limit their potential. And, there's always that argument back and forth about what, some people are just happy at this. And it's like, I don't know that. Most people don't wake up in the morning and go, yeah, I can't wait to be mediocre today or not achieve my dreams. Like, I can't wait to not achieve my dreams today. So
exactly.
Yes, they're and they confuse it, right? There's like a disconnect because when you talk about living up to your potential and stretching yourself, that's not the same as, oh, you have to go buy a $100,000 car and a $2 million house. That's not what we're talking about, right? In
Exactly.
stretching yourself and what are you capable of, whether that's learning a new skill or reading more books or, anything. It's not, people somehow always are like, well, I don't need a ton more money or I don't need a big house. And it's like, where did that even come in the conversation? Like, that's not even part of this conversation, unless that's what they want, right?
Right.
So I appreciate it is. So, and that's the other important thing about a coach. And I'm sure with your hypnotherapy, it's, our job as coaches is to help you find out what you want, what's important to you, not what's important to us, because it's going to be very different, I'm sure. So,
Exactly.
if you do hire a coach and they're trying to tell you to be something that you don't want to, that's not a good fit, and move on to somebody else. So, all right, Cally, I really appreciate being here. I know that you're super busy and I have a lot going on. And so I'm going to have, again, all the links to your stuff there. And there's a newsletter, I think, that they can sign up for as well. And you have some free tools.
I do.
Perfect. Any final words you want to leave, or advice or thoughts with our listeners and viewers this
I
morning?
just want to tell everybody to breathe. Take some deep breaths, live in the present. And, really be here, be here now. Like, what's going on now? Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about the past. Like, be here now. And just thank you so much for having me, Kim. I'm so excited to be a guest on Maximum Octane.
I'm excited to have you, and I hope to see more of you. And we'll
keep in touch.
Maybe collaborate on something. Yeah. All right, everybody. Stay safe, make good choices, and stay inspired. And I will be back next week.